Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm still having that flu going on, and so my voice seems like I'm talking like a white man, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I've clamped my nose with the pegs. But we gotta do this. I don't want backlog. I don't like backlog, and that's why I've gotta do what I've gotta do in this present day. We are in the middle of a series. We're talking about self-deficiency and the things we can be able to do to cure self-deficiency. So the Life Signatures podcast is a daily show where I focus about purpose, productivity, and resilience, those three things being the core of what life is all about. If you remove any one of them, then success, significance, and all that stuff become difficult for you to attain. And so in the middle of this series, we're going to continue talking about what we had started. It's a long series, but we're going to continue talking about what we started about self-deficiency, how we can be able to cure it. We've seen some of the things we can be able to do. Let us continue looking at them.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
So we've been talking of in the recent past. We've been talking about several issues several things you can be able to do to cure self-deficiency. And one of the things that I am now focusing on is the idea of educating oneself, self-education. Of course, we've already looked at other things. The other thing that we looked at previously that can help you to cure self-deficiency is to reclaim your identity, to look at your identity and reclaim it. That the things that have come into your life one way or another, maybe it's the environment, or maybe it's the words that have been spoken by people in authority, maybe it's something that you've suffered, something that you've gone through. All those things normally affect your identity, and your identity, when it's affected, it kills your self-deficiency. So you've got to reclaim it. How do you reclaim it? By stating what your identity is, regardless of the environment you're living in. You might be living in a very poverty-infested environment, but you reclaim your identity by decreeing and declaring and continuing to hold in your mind, convincing yourself that you are a king, a child of the Most High God. Your identity is intact, at least in the spiritual realm. Maybe in the physical it doesn't seem like it is, but you hold tight unto that declaration, unto that resolve in your mind and in your spirit, and you reclaim your identity. Whether things come into your life and they mess your life up, you reclaim your identity. Whether it's words that are spoken by your mother, your father, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, you reclaim your identity. You stay connected to your identity. Of course, you take feedback from people. It's one thing, when you hear people telling you that you're wrong and you say, I'm a child of the Most High God. Shut up and listen to what people are telling you, because the people are the ones experiencing you. They are experiencing your bad attitude. They are experiencing your disrespect. So when they give you feedback, they're not necessarily killing your identity. In fact, they are helping you to up your identity. If you can take a minute just to onboard their feedback and inculcate that feedback into your life and start changing, your identity actually is increased, and you should thank people for that particular feedback. And then the second thing we're talking about is self-education. And we've said that self-education is important in helping you to overcome self-deficiency because, number one, it puts you in the driver's seat. It's not like you sitting and waiting for a teacher to come and tell you. I mean, it puts you in the driver's seat and you'll never graduate from this. You never burn your books because of this. Secondly, it focuses on what you're passionate about. The other time we talked about school focusing on what has got to be taught, right? Doesn't care whether you're good at it or not. Doesn't care whether you're passionate about it or not. Doesn't. And of course, there's a place for that. There's a place for all of us to learn mathematics and science and all that stuff, but not forever. Not forever. I am an arts person. Don't force me to be a science person. I wasn't created to be a science person. So I'm wasting time trying to be a science person, and I'm at the same time not focusing on being the arts person that I was created to be. See, this is what self-education does. It helps you to focus on what you're passionate about, what you're good about, what your strengths are. And now to number 3 and number 4, I'm going to talk about them today. Self-education, number 3, helps you to increase your confidence. It's informal, yes, but you get to have an aura, a spring in your step, because you know something better. In fact, you know something better that you are also excited about. Self-education, being informal, does not have any end, because you know you're always going to learn. You're always going to be better. Formal education does come to an end at some point in time, especially when you realize that you no longer are going to be examined and certificates are no longer going to be conferred upon you. You stop. You stop at some point in time which is allowed. So some kind of darkness is dispelled from your mind, and in turn your self-deficiency is dealt with a massive blow. And that's what you need. You need this self-deficiency to continue being dispelled by self-education. I'm telling you, really, you can take this to the bank. There is no way, there is absolutely no way that you're going to continue self-educating and your self-confidence continues to be low. There is no way. I have seen people literally transform their confidence by educating themselves. They go and they start reading self-help books. They go and they start getting clarity about who they are. They start getting clarity about their gifts, their talents. They start getting clarity about their personality profiles. And they continue reading and they continue zeroing in. They zero in on the things that they are good at. And the more they continue gathering information, gathering data, gathering insights, gathering understanding about who they are and what they're supposed to do, their self-confidence, it keeps increasing. Those people who will never raise their hands in a group of people to speak and to air an opinion, they now don't feel like, they cannot speak. They want to speak. There's a burning inside of their hearts. I've got to say something because I know better. Now their self-confidence starts increasing, and if their self-confidence starts increasing, guess what happens? Self-deficiency is dealt a major, mighty blow. The fourth thing that self-education does is that it carves out, this is a very important issue, it carves out a niche for you. When I started self-educating, of course I will read just about anything. But now I've zeroed in on purpose. It carves out a niche for you. And what this world needs, especially in dealing with self-deficiency, is to know what mountain you're supposed to tackle, what mountain you're supposed to stand on. It's to know what you're supposed to illuminate yourself about. That is what self-education does. It carves out a niche for you. Self-deficiency is created at the core when you believe that you do not matter, when you believe that there is nothing for you to do, when you believe that you are a generality, a wandering generality. There's a statement by Zig Ziglar says, be a meaningful specific and not a wandering generality. So being a meaningful specific is coming about when you start self-educating and when you keep self-educating. When you embark on self-education, you will zero down on an area of interest, on a thing that matters. Invariably, it does this, on the things that matter to you. You will identify with it. Identity will go a long way in solving the issues related to your self-deficiency. Now you know that I am about this. I am about sales. I am about engineering. I'm about purpose. I'm about inspiration. I'm about the girl child. I'm about the ECD and early childhood education. I'm about this. This is my mountain. This is what matters to me. This is what self-education does. It carves out a niche for you, even where the niche is not being given in the general formal education sector. There are very many niches that the general formal education sector doesn't cover, but self-education can cover, even if there is no name that has been given to it. I'm telling you, you're going to zero in on a body of knowledge, on a body of works that is something that matters to you, something that is your niche, something that is your mountain. And once you do that, once you start identifying yourself with something to conquer, some mountain to conquer, some villain to slay, some purpose to deploy, what happens is that the self-deficiency that you thought you had doesn't even continue to be there. In fact, now you know what to conquer. Once you've known what to conquer, there is no way self-deficiency will continue operating in your mind. You see, someone who dares not to have a niche identifies with self-deficiency. Someone who does not have any niche that they've carved off for this life, it is easy for them to be susceptible to self-deficiency. Where do they start? Where do they stand? They have nowhere to stand. They are a wandering generality. The clarity of your niche in life, it opens up your mind and gives you motivation. It gives you inspiration. It gives you a mandate. There is no way you're going to have a mandate in your life and you become self-deficient in the same process. There's no way. There is no way. So I never saw someone who knows what they are about and they are dealing with a great deal of self-deficiency at the same time. Of course, you might need to deal with this at the early stages, but it doesn't continue. You're going to conquer this because there is a niche that you're carved out for yourself. In fact, let me just finish this. Number 5, it makes you an expert. Because once you continue being an expert, and once you continue carving yourself a niche and continue beefing yourself up in that particular niche, you become an expert. You become a go-to person. People start identifying your name with their expertise, or the expertise with your name, vice versa. It means you've owned that particular mountain. Someone might argue that formal education does make you an expert also, but I disagree. Listen, what formal education does is to seek to create very many experts in one area, very many doctors in one area, very many engineers in one area. But what self-education does is to create as many experts as there are people on the face of the earth. In other words, everybody can become an expert. This is because an expert can be an expert in just about anything. You can be an expert in bird watching. I kid you not. I'm telling you the truth. I kid you not. I'm telling you. You can be an expert at whistling. Let me not go there. The driving force behind this expertise is not making a fortune, but deploying one's inner talent, one's inner resolve, what matters to that particular person to feed this humanity with value. That is the driving force behind this expertise that I'm talking about for self-education. It's about deploying one's purpose and serving humanity in the process. And I can tell you here and now that you won't find an expert who is battling self-deficiency. Really, a real expert battling self-deficiency, you won't find them. So what self-education does, let's just do a recap even as we bring this to a close. Number 1, it puts you in the driver's seat. You are in control of what you want to learn and where you want to go. You order your steps. Number 2, it focuses on only what you're passionate about. Invariably, you're not forced to do self-education on things that don't matter to you. You never saw someone steeped into self-education in a thing that they hate. No, this is what self-education does. It liberates you from that particular hate. Number 3, it increases your confidence, which we've talked about. And then number 4, it carves out a niche for you. And number 5, it gives you expertise, or it makes you an expert in a particular niche. If you are self-educating, there is no way self-deficiency continues to stay with you. Tomorrow, we keep doing this. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.